When a top minister comments on an ongoing fiery issue, it almost always makes headlines. But Union Minister Farooq Abdullah didn't expect the kind of backlash he got when he said it's scary for men to consider hiring women as secretaries because of the number of sexual harassment complaints that are coming to light, including Justice A.K. Ganguly's sexual harassment case. Farooq Abdullah later said he didn't mean to offend women, but by then it had already upset many people. On agenda today, is this kind of comment sexist? And exactly what's wrong with our society? Or are we making too much of it? And it's all an inoffensive joke, as the other side are saying. Our pundits joining us today on this debate and taking contrary positions, we have feminist lawyer, activist lawyer Flavia Agnes and KTS Tulsi, who's saying no, this comment isn't sexist at all. We'll also be joined by a live audience, young audience from Chennai and Mumbai, and taking their questions. But before that, let's just take a look at what Farooq Abdullah said.
यार आजकल तो डर लग गया है लड़की से बात करने का। अब तो ये हालत हो गई है। बल्कि हम तो समझते हैं कि हमने किसी ने भी सेक्रेटरी नहीं रखना है अब लड़की, कि खुदा ना खास्ता कहीं ऐसी शिकायत ना हो जाए कि हम ही जेल पहुंच जाए। हालत ऐसी हो गई है। मैं मानता हूं कि रेप बढ़ गए हिंदुस्तान में, ऐसी बात नहीं है कि नहीं है, मगर कहीं तो कोई रुकावट होना चाहिए। नहीं तो एक नो आई एम नॉट ब्लेमिंग द गर्ल्स, I am blaming the society itself. I feel terribly sorry that people are misunderstanding things and then misquoting in many ways. There was no question of anything to derogate people. No question. I feel time has come when women must get their justice and they must get their 33 reservation in the parliament as quickly as possible.
So that brings us to our first talking point here on agenda, where we are asking why is Farooq Abdullah's comment, or well, some would say, is Farooq Abdullah's comment objectionable? Flavia Agnes, why is it?
Well, that just shows a general mindset. And I feel that we've been involved with this issue for the last 30 years, but I don't think we are moving much forward, because this kind of attitude towards women, like either they are available and they should be available, or will not employ them. I think that is a very dangerous trend in society. What we need to do is stricter laws, a stricter code of conduct, but at the same time not reduce women's employment. It cannot lead to, like, any benefit women get, like maternity benefit or anything, and immediately the number of women employed in that particular sector goes down. It cannot be like this. We cannot reinvent the wheel all the time. The women will file cases of sexual harassment, so we shall not employ women. It just cannot be at that level. And it's not just Farooq Abdullah making this statement. All senior lawyers are saying this, judges are saying this, various people are saying that we will not have women anywhere close to us. Yes. What does it mean about our society? That women are just sex objects, or women are liars, or women may file charges for nothing? What does it mean? I fail to understand.
Interesting that you say all lawyers and all are saying that, because of course you're referring, they're all commenting about the case of Justice A.K. Ganguly, who's just been outed by Supreme Court, has said that they have prima facie evidence that he was involved in that sexual harassment case. KTS Tulsi, why don't you think that what Farooq Abdullah said is objectionable?
You see, I do feel that he's got carried away, and he's put things in a manner which are objectionable. But nevertheless, perhaps what he means is that the laws should be fair, and you can't presume guilt merely on the statement. The legal process has to start, and the legal process must be allowed to play itself out. And right in the beginning, if you start saying that they are guilty, I mean, yesterday I heard a member of parliament saying on this channel that the Supreme Court has held Justice Ganguly guilty, guilty, guilty. Now that's really complete distortion.
But so coming back to Farooq Abdullah's statement, where he says, that people are actually scared of hiring women. Do you think there is some, because I heard a lot of men talking about the fact that, well, what he's saying is right. People are wary now. Do you feel that way?
No, I feel that the law is being distorted by the media.
Which law?
The law that mere committees,
anti-rape law.
that merely, that's right, the sexual offences. The law with regard to sexual offences and even generally, even other offences.
Yes.
Merely on an allegation, the kind of hysteria that is built.
No, sir, but all we are saying is that it should be taken seriously. And we're not getting hysterical about it. We're just saying someone should take cognizance of it.
In this case, it was taken so seriously that on the first day that the allegation appeared in the newspaper,
yes,
one of the lawyers mentioned it to the Chief Justice.
Okay.
Thereafter, the Attorney General went to the...
Okay, I think we're digressing to the other case. We want to talk about this particular case. I want to bring up our second talking point really and ask, our second talking point says, does the pretext of humor and candor make it acceptable? Don't forget that Naresh Agarwal made a similar comment. A lot of other people have also been making similar comments. Flavia Agnes, do you think that when people say, look, why do you have to be so politically correct? He was just, in fact, even when Omar Abdullah tweeted about it, he said dad should apologize at his attempt at humor. Do you think that do you think feminists are making too much of it, or what do you make of that kind of pretext?
It's the same old story again. If you go along with it, you're fine. If you can't take it, it was a joke and you don't have a sense of humor. But humor is always on women, on their body parts, on their sexuality. Why does humor have to be like this? And if you don't go along with it, if you don't like it, jokes being made on you, then something seems to be wrong with you. We've gone through it in the 70s, we've gone through it in the 80s, and we're going through it again now. It's the same kind of story. Most of the time when women feel uncomfortable, they never used to talk. They used to tolerate it, they used to leave the job, they used to go elsewhere. Now that they are opening their mouth, and we're told that women must open their mouths, they must speak up, they must talk about sexual harassment at workplace, etc. But when it does happen, we don't like it. And then we have this kind of humor coming in, that these women lack a sense of humor, they don't like to be commented upon, and according to me, the media hype has its own story and it has its own history. A woman who is talking out is not asking for a media attention.
Yes.
And what media has to do is a separate issue. But should women be talking out, or should women not be talking out? Or should women should keep quiet so that they can retain a job, they can come into the economic sector, or they should retreat and go back home and stay there? What are we trying to say? I think we are not clear about that.
And don't you agree with what she's saying, Mr. Tulsi?
No, I agree that women have a right to be respected and their choices to be respected, and we must take them as equal.
But this doesn't sound like it's equal.
No, but it does. You see, now if the media takes every allegation to its extreme, that on the day one, you presume we
just want it to be taken seriously. That's all we're saying.
No, but that's not what is happening. What is happening is that lynch mob is being created. The hysteria, the kind of hysteria that is being built.
Do you think we're being hysterical about what Farooq Abdullah said?
No, not about Farooq Abdullah.
But we're talking about Farooq Abdullah over here right now.
Very well. I'm saying that Farooq Abdullah may be reacting to the hysteria that has been created on allegations of sexual improprieties.
Do you agree with what Flavia is saying, that the way he said it, he may be reacting to that?
It's completely unacceptable. It's wrong. But what I'm saying is that you need to see the counterpoint. Every law is required to be interpreted in a manner it can do justice to all parties.
Okay.
And we must wait for the legal process. Legal process is not begun. People on the channels have started saying guilty, guilty, guilty.
Okay, we're not really talking about that.
Where does anybody have a hope in hell?
I want to get some, because obviously this issue has... Yes, go ahead, Ms. Agnes.
I just want to come in here, and I've heard Mr. Ram Jethmalani making a statement in public that, after this, when you go to bed, you need to have an affidavit of the woman, and then only you go to bed. Well, you don't have to go to bed with every other woman, for God's sake. So, which means that you always went to bed and without consent or with consent or whatever. But now that the law has changed or whatever, now you need to have an affidavit. I think the affidavit should be on the woman's side, that when she goes to bed with a man, then he has to have responsibility for his act. And if that is not there, then there's something wrong. And how can you make humor like this in a public forum?
Yes.
That, oh, now when we go to bed, we should have an affidavit signed by the woman, etc. What kind of jokes are these? I
What
fail
kind
to
of
understand.
jokes?